Sorry, say it again.
I think people are feeling a sense of lack.
What do you mean?
And the sense of lack in that they're missing something. And I think it gets projected as to something external, when I believe what they're really missing is themselves. They're doing what they're supposed to do, but things aren't fitting in for them. They're still feeling a sense of emptiness, a sense of lack. It's because they're missing themselves rather than what their heart and soul is telling them to do. They're trying to conform as to what.
Yeah, but that's all airy-fairy stuff.
Perhaps.
No, it is. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now that it is all airy-fairy stuff. I'll put myself in the camera and I'll say it. It's airy-fairy. And what I mean by that is we need to give people some tangible stuff that they can work with. Everybody's selling this right now. Everybody's selling this idea of finding yourself and your authentic self.
Right.
I'm sick of it. I don't have any patience for it anymore because I just think we're not on the game. You know, you talked about earlier on, and maybe you want to repeat it right now, about this cup.
Yeah.
You use that. I mean,
Yes.
and this was something that really, I think, resonates because the rest of it is just all this bogus crap that everybody keeps talking about. And I don't want to hear another piece of it.
Yeah.
I can't. I can't do it. So talk about this cup thing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is that
So tell me about the cup. Here it is.
this cup is you. It's a special gift that you've been given. It's been given to you and you alone. I don't have it because it's been entrusted to you. And what I was trying to get to earlier, we're missing this cup. We're missing the worth of this cup. We're missing that this has been entrusted to you to bring to the world. And we're holding back on it because we're not valuing it, because we're not seeing it for what it is.
But okay, so so here's my point. You can hold the camera now. You can point it at me. So I think what we're talking about here is recognition. I think we're talking about recognizing. You know, one of the things you said about earlier on, we talked about it, and that's why we're recording this now. It's because somebody said, well, it's about getting out of your own way, and I'm not accusing anything that sounds like that. But the point of the matter is, I don't think it's adversarial like that. I don't think people recognize this. I don't think people recognize what they hold. I don't think I recognize what I hold.
Yes, exactly.
And you know, and if I ask people, maybe perhaps in my eulogy, they would say to me, you know, well, Garth, you did this. I know people when they come and hang out with me, I'm a gas station for their life.
Yeah.
They come, they get filled up, right, Carl? They come and get filled up, and all of a sudden they leave, and I get that. But I don't recognize that that's what my cup is. My cup is that I am the infusionator, and I would pay a lot of money for this cup of this coffee because what it does is it fills me up with, and I don't have a problem seeing the value of what goes in here. I don't have the problem of seeing the value and feeling the value of my car being filled with gas because I realize right now it's on empty. So if I want to go anywhere, I've got to do that, and that gas station is pretty important to me. And yet, what I realize for me is what I do for people is this infusionator. I infuse energy, but never really thought that that was something that I had to do. And so I didn't recognize the cup. Hard to believe for a person of my capacity and competency. Now, unlike we're sitting with Carl Stedman right now, who believes he knows exactly why he's here, and he just keeps doing it until somebody will actually pay attention, and they do. Because he says, this is what I am. He recognizes that.
He owns it.
So he owns it. And he says, I got this cup, this is what I do. Most people don't recognize the cup. They don't recognize it. And I guess the question is how do they get connected? And that's something you do. So give me back this camera because I'm going to get you to talk about it.
Okay. Exactly. And that's what I was trying to get at earlier, is that we don't necessarily recognize this cup. And that's what I do is that because I'm neutral, I can see the bigger picture. I can say, hey, this is this cup, you're not seeing it. I'm showing you, hey, this has value, this has worth. Because for some reason, somewhere along the line, we stopped trusting our own beliefs in ourselves.
Right.
And so we look externally to validation on this is worth something.
So unlike most of the other self-help things that are out there, your job is to connect people, and you do this through your practice of craniosacral and massage therapy and really your intuition.
Yeah.
And I do it through ideas and concepts of infusion, right? And that's why what we're about to do with the program, right, there we are turning the camera over, And what we're about to do with this event we're going to run is finally, that's what I did on my TV show for years, and you just pointed it out to me. I brought this information. And it's now about time, but also it's about time that I take some of this next step about not being fearful. We'll talk about that in another piece when we, in the next segment, so you got to tune in for that. We're going to speak a little bit to Carl Stedman in the next piece. So all you got to do is hit that red button now. See, I'm giving video instructions. Push the red button. Then